So here is the somewhat limited release of the Attack of the Clones Action Fleet line. So there were really only 5 that came out in this set. They're relatively rare, difficult to find. Some are more difficult to find than others, but we'll go ahead and walk through some of the features. None of these come with actual characters, and all of them have stands that look similar to this with the Action Fleet. It's in block letters and then it's squared like that. Don't have all the stands just because I've got them kind of all over the place, but we'll talk through each one individually. Not a ton of features in some of these. So first with the Acclimator here, this one has the stand that rotates around. It has like a little aspect here that comes out. It's almost like a little plank for the troopers to be able to come out. That comes out on both sides. And that is basically, oops, popped it off there. That's basically all that this thing does. Not really a whole lot of features to it. It's still pretty cool looking, but wish that there was a little more that they had put into this one in terms of what it actually does. Then you've got the Solar Sailor. This is another one that, not super crazy about this one, but it would be nice if these wings here, or this like solar sheet part, actually opened up. But mainly what this thing does is these flaps come up like that. You can kind of see the little cockpit area in there. You can move this around. You could take this off so that you could have just the individual ship here, kind of like Count Dooku is flying off in episode 2. But that's about all that guy does. Nothing really crazy there. You have the Slave 1, Jango Fett Slave 1, which I talked about in another video. It's got the same features as the normal Slave 1, just different coloring. The wings adjust, the cockpit opens, and then it also still has the drop down. This is just basically the same exact mold from the original Slave 1 version. They just repainted it and used the same mold, which is still, that one's a pretty cool one. And then you've got the Walker here. This one actually has a ton that it does. So it's difficult to articulate because it moves around so much, but all of the legs move around. They've got kind of a ball and socket joint here on each one of the feet, which make it difficult to pose it. It does have rotating guns here on the front. It's got rotating guns here on the rear as well, and then this gun here adjusts some. It has a little bit of play to it. And then the other thing that is kind of cool is the cockpit does open, so you could see there could potentially be a figure in there. Obviously you can see the reason why they didn't include a figure with this one, because it would have never fit. It's way too small relative to the other Action Fleet series, but that's basically that guy. And then your final one here is the Republic Gunship. This one is actually really cool. So this is probably the coolest of the ones that are released. And this one actually has a decent number of features to it. So you have a cockpit that does open. If I can get this thing to open up. No, it opens forward like that. I can't seem to get it to pop open, but that thing does open. You've got rotating guns here on the front. You also have these little laser cannons that come out of the sides. Both sides they come out. There is on the back, there is another little gun here. This one is super delicate though, so you want to be really careful with it because that'll break off really easy. And the other thing that's really cool, I didn't realize this for the longest time, but these little doors here actually pop out. And so you can open it up like that as if you're landing this thing and the troops are getting off of the ship. So this side opens up as well, like that. And then you can just close it back up and click it in together. There's really no variants to these guys. You know, if there are, I've never seen any of them. At least in the Action Fleet line, there aren't any. There's a couple very rare prototypes that were released for, or not even released, but they got to a production cycle or beginning of the production cycle for some episode 3 ships that I've seen out there. But they basically made it to episode 2. They released these 5 and then basically stopped. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Thanks for watching.